What does the Bible say about ghosts and spirits? Is there a distinction between the two of these? Like, what's the correct language around it? And do you have any scriptures?
Well, actually, it deals more with spirits, and we know that um, in the Bible it tells you that God is a spirit, and He's the Most High Spirit. And what you realize is that when they use the word like Elohim, Elohim just means spirit, but that's why you have um, El Shaddai, the Most High, and then you have all the different ones that talk about what spirits are. Well, when you're dealing with the spirit realm, you need to know exactly what you're dealing with. And most of the time, when you have a name of a spirit or something that describes a spirit, is describing the spiritual attribute. So, what the Bible says about that is like it's kind of like when you give a lying spirit, where they talk about in Kings chapter 22, verse 22, and then you have another one where they talk about where God says in Timothy, I've not given you a spirit of fear. So there is a spirit of fear. And then you have spirits of delusion. You have spirits of perversion in Romans chapter 1. Like when they talk about in Mark chapter 9, a deaf and dumb spirit, it doesn't make you deaf and dumb. What it does is it causes you not to be able to speak. It causes you not to be able to hear when somebody's trying to minister to you. It also opens the doorway for death to come in. So because that same spirit in Mark chapter 9 dealing with the little boy, it tried to cause him to throw himself into the fire. That's a spirit like suicide. It tries to tell him to throw himself into the river and drown. And it doesn't mean that every time a person has a seizure that it's a demonic spirit. But in this case, this particular case, it was a spirit that would leave and come back. And that's why it says when Jesus was talking to the Father, when it comes on him, what happens and how long has it been there? So Jesus asked these questions so he would know what type of spirit that he was dealing with. Also, you see that when he addressed his disciples, there was a learning or teaching moment here. So where he told them, when you're dealing with this kind only comes out through much prayer and fasting. And the prayer and fasting is for you, the person that's going to be dealing with the demonic spirit or entering into the spirit realm, for you to have yourself together. You have to be on your P's and Q's. You have to be on your toes. You have to be spiritually aware. That's why in Corinthians chapter 12, you find that it talks about the gifts of the Spirit. One of the most important spiritual gifts that you need to have is the discernment of spirits. It doesn't say just discernment. It says the discernment of spirits, so you know what type of spirit that you're dealing with.